Roberto De Zerbi has 7 games to save Tottenham from relegation, while Bruno Fernandes is already shaping Manchester United's next midfield. This is not a quiet news cycle. Welcome back to Just Soccer. Today feels less like a transfer roundup and more like a stress test for half the Premier League. Managers are gambling reputations, captains are influencing recruitment, and fans are being asked to trust plans that sound bold on paper. The question is simple: which of these moves actually fixes something, and which ones just buy time? The situation is becoming more complex when even charity matches deliver grim headlines. Former Liverpool defender Fabio Aurelio suffers rib injuries in Legends match. Legends matches are meant to celebrate history, not produce hospital reports. The emotional weight of seeing a club icon injured reminds fans how thin the line is between nostalgia and risk. Former Liverpool defender Fabio Aurelio was hospitalized after breaking 5 ribs and suffering a collapsed lung during a Liverpool Legends match against Ajax Legends at Anfield. The injury occurred in the first half after a collision with Kiki Musampa while Aurelio attempted to block a shot. Liverpool Legends went on to win 4-2 with goals from Djibril Cissé, Fernando Torres, Nabil El Zahar, and Gregory Vignal, but the result felt secondary. It is important to stress this was a charity fixture, not a professional competitive match. Still, the severity of the injury shocked supporters. Aurelio, now 44, was part of a generation that defined an era at Anfield, and seeing him stretchered off turned a celebratory afternoon into something sobering. Moments like this cut through transfer noise and tactical debates. They remind everyone that football, even in exhibition form, carries real physical risk. The hope now is straightforward: a full and steady recovery. At the same time, Manchester United are thinking about their next midfield chapter. Bruno Fernandes to urge Manchester United to sign Portugal Teamate. When a captain pushes for a signing, it can signal succession planning or quiet uncertainty about his own future. The real debate is not talent, it is leadership and whether United are preparing for life after Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is reportedly set to recommend one of his Portugal teammates to Manchester United's recruitment team. Sky Sports outlined that this conversation sits within broader talks about midfield depth and long-term planning. The name circulating most prominently in discussion spaces is Matheus Fernandes, who has emerged as a breakout Premier League performer this season, although there is no official confirmation of a primary target. There are also reports around potential clauses in Bruno Fernandes' contract, but nothing concrete has been confirmed. What is clear is that Manchester United are assessing how their midfield evolves over the next 2 to 3 seasons. Fans are split. Some question whether Matheus Fernandes, despite his technical quality, carries the same authority and personality as Bruno Fernandes. That is the uncomfortable layer here. Replacing output is one task. Replacing influence inside a dressing room that has often looked fragile is something else entirely. Elsewhere, another heavyweight is searching for answers after a bruising afternoon. Szoboszlai criticizes Liverpool's fighting spirit after heavy Man City defeat. And when a player questions fighting spirit publicly, that is not noise. That is a dressing room alarm. Liverpool's problem is not only mentality, it is structural protection in midfield, and the numbers are quietly damning. Liverpool were dismantled 4-0 by Manchester City in the FA Cup, and Dominic Szoboszlai did not hide behind polite phrases. He admitted the team lacked fighting spirit and struggled to find words for the performance. Virgil van Dijk offered sympathy to the fans, but sympathy does not repair a midfield that was bypassed repeatedly. The raw stat that stands out is this: Liverpool conceded 4 goals from just 1.8 expected goals. That means the defensive moments were not just frequent, they were catastrophic. Manchester City did not need a barrage of chances, they needed space and time, and Liverpool gave both. Supporters are already demanding a so-called destroyer to shield the back four. Reports suggest the club have intensified interest in adding physical presence, but there is no confirmed target at this stage. The bigger issue is balance. If your rest defense collapses every time possession is lost, no amount of attacking flair will save you in knockout football. Let us start in North London, where the stakes could not be higher. Tottenham appoint Roberto De Zerbi to lead Premier League survival mission. Hiring an expansive, possession-heavy coach for a relegation scrap is either genius or chaos disguised as bravery. This is less about philosophy and more about whether De Zerbi can compress risk into 7 brutally short games. Tottenham Hotspur have officially appointed Roberto De Zerbi as manager for the final 7 games of the Premier League season. The brief is clear and brutal: avoid relegation. According to The Guardian, this is the club's so-called escape plan, a gamble from the hierarchy that creativity and controlled aggression can spark a late surge. Spurs are deep in a relegation battle, and 7 matches is not a rebuilding project. It is emergency surgery. De Zerbi's teams are known for bold build-up play and inviting pressure before slicing through it. In mid-table comfort, that is progressive. In a survival fight, it can look like overconfidence bordering on recklessness. There is no long-term contract beyond this mission, no promise of a summer reset baked into the announcement. This is short-term, high-risk management. If it works, he is the visionary who refused to play scared. If it fails, the experiment will be remembered as the moment Spurs tried to outthink gravity. Now to a story with longer-term impact in West London. Chelsea monitor, Strasbourg defender Abakar Sylla. Chelsea's multi-club model is either a strategic pipeline or an excuse to stockpile potential. The key question is whether Abakar Sylla is a solution for today or another name for tomorrow. Chelsea are reportedly monitoring Strasbourg defender Abakar Sylla as they assess defensive reinforcements. The interest aligns with the Blueco ownership structure, which links Chelsea and Strasbourg within the same multi-club network. BBC Sport report that Sylla is firmly on the radar, but there is no agreement on fees or personal terms, and no claim that a move is imminent. Statistically, Sylla ranks in the top 5% for progressive carries among Ligue 1 defenders. That suggests comfort stepping into midfield and breaking lines, a trait Chelsea often demand from their center backs. Some supporters are already frustrated by what they call another project signing. The club, however, appears to be building optionality. The tension is obvious. Chelsea needs stability at the back now. Sylla represents upside, not immediate certainty. That is not the only major move today involving Manchester United's engine room. Sandro Tonali linked with Manchester United Midfield Move. Targeting Sandro Tonali would be a statement of intent, but it would also test how serious United are about competing with direct rivals. This is the kind of rumor that benefits from noise. The practical obstacles are enormous. Manchester United have also been linked with Newcastle United midfielder Sandro Tonali as part of a potential summer overhaul, according to the Manchester Evening News. Tonali remains a Newcastle player, and there has been no formal bid submitted. He is viewed internally at United as a high-profile option to rebalance their midfield. Since returning to action, Tonali has averaged 2.5 tackles per 90 minutes, underlining his ability to combine defensive bite with distribution. On paper, he answers many of the questions raised about United's transitional vulnerability. Newcastle supporters, however, are adamant the club will not sell to a direct rival, and that is the tension. Identifying a player and extracting him from a competitor are very different challenges. This story is at the interest stage, not the execution stage. 7 games to save Tottenham. Liverpool searching for steel. Manchester United mapping life with or without Bruno Fernandes. Chelsea scanning their sister club for the next defender. Some of these stories will age into turning points. Others will quietly fade. The job is knowing which is which. This has been Just Soccer, and we will keep asking the uncomfortable question before the table does.